the best response you can have to a payoff in a thriller is someone goes, "Oh, right, I forgot. Of course, I should have thought that."
On Story offers a look inside the creative process from today's leading writers, creators, and filmmakers. All of our content is recorded live at Austin Film Festival and at our year-round events. To view previous episodes, visit onstory.tv. On Story is brought to you in part by the Alice Kleberg Reynolds Foundation, a Texas family providing innovative funding since 1979. From Austin Film Festival, this is On Story, a look inside the creative process from today's leading writers, creators, and filmmakers. This week's On Story, Workin' Moms creator Katherine Reitman.
The story of motherhood seems to only be a broad comedy with a diaper full of poop hitting the wall, or a really after-school specially dramatic one. So being able to tell a premium cable feeling dramedy about the subject matter was really exciting to me, and it felt like the most honest interpretation of my experiences as a working mother.
In this episode, Katherine Reitman discusses her acting career in film and television, bringing the pain and comedy of real-life experiences into her work, and transitioning into the role of creator, writer, and star of her International Emmy Award-nominated comedy series, Workin' Moms.
Can you talk about the inspiration for moving from your acting career into creating and producing this project?
Yeah, totally. I got pregnant, and I thought I'd never work again. I was an actor at the time, and I got a job. And my baby happened to be 6 weeks old at the time, first baby. And when you get a gig as an actor, you're like, I won't get married, I'll do everything. You can have all my bones. You're just willing to do anything. This cast was male comedian heavy, which was great. And we got onto the day. We were shooting, and on Facebook or on Instagram, when you become a mother, it's all just like people posting pics of themselves with babies, or "Thank you so much, Mom," and I opened it very stupidly, and I started seeing everyone posting pics of their relationship with their children, and they made me, garbage macaroni or whatever. And I was so sad. I was like overwhelmed, and I was really trying to trap it down. And the guy started teasing me. The guy started being like, don't worry, I'm sure the baby will call the nanny mom, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, man. And I thought I'd be able to swing back, and I started crying. And it was like a very inopportune moment because we were like on set, about to go, lights, camera. And I couldn't get it together. And for those of you who are familiar with my show, in the first episode, Kate's in this conference room and they start teasing her and she breaks down and cries, and it's awkward and painful and funny and all the things. So that was the very first moment of the show.
Hey, shouldn't you be at home right now putting your baby to bed or something?
That's right, Kate. Didn't you have a heart out?
Well, you guys need me here. The work's not done.
Whew, nice priorities.
Look, my kid's not exactly being robbed of the good life. You remember the good life, Mo? Breastfeeding off your poor mother till you could tie your own shoes?
He does.
Once again, I breastfed for a normal amount of time.
Down, girl. We're just messing with you.
Your baby calling nanny mom yet? You think she likes that?
I got back to the hotel room, I started crying, and I called Phil, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not myself anymore. I do not know who I am anymore. I'm not sexy, I'm not cute, I'm not smart, there's nothing to me anymore. And it felt very real. And he said, I think you gotta write this. And I was like, no, I'm not a writer, shut up. And he was like, no, you have to, you gotta take some time And just don't worry about the whole shape of an episode. Just write the scenes. And I did. I think I wrote 12 scenes, and we ended up shooting it and cutting it into an 8-minute sizzle that opened with a mommy and me scene that I'd experienced, which is also in the show, and closed with the crying "I want to work" beat. And we shopped it around. FX initially picked it up and then passed. And then everyone kind of passed. It was dead. And I was like, no one wants to watch a show about moms. All right. I guess my instinct about not being worth anything means something. There's truth in it. So we went to Canada, and Sally Catto at the CBC, who's an extraordinary tastemaker there. I don't just say that because she liked my show. She's responsible for Schitt's Creek and a lot of shows that are very popular. And she greenlit it to 13 episodes based off of an 8-minute sizzle. Yeah, it's a wow moment. It's a holy moment. It also happened to be, yeah, give it to her.
This is one of the first shows that I saw, and I found it when I was 3 months postpartum, that really explored that idea of this identity crisis and kind of what we're up against from the societal expectations.
I mean, yeah, that's the concept, and that's the most relatable idea in the show. It's why when we couldn't sell it, I still don't get it. I don't get that women who work who have children, who have an identity outside of the house, is unrelatable. But even if you don't look like Kate, have a car like Kate, look like Frankie, have a lover like Frankie, can you connect with identity crisis? And I hate the term having it all because it makes it sound like it goes back to that selfish thing for me. Like having it all is somehow ordering everything on the buffet. It's like, no, you're just asking for a family and something that's yours. That's it. These are very simple, basic, loving, actually maternal concepts. So this was something we were trying to bake in to the show in a way that didn't feel like medicine.
Kate, I overheard you're going back to work. Are you excited?
Yeah. A little intimidated, I guess. What's the trick to making all this work? I'm trying to stay positive. It just, having it all seems a little impossible.
I find the key is setting boundaries for yourself. A good place to start is committing to being home for the evening routine.
Okay. I was really so focused on, for those of you females in the audience who have had a female mentor who's broken your heart, so often you find someone where you're like, oh, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like to have it all. That's what it looks like to do this. And then you actually get to know them and you're like, wait, ugh. And it's really hard to find. I found in the entertainment industry women who were higher up, who were achieving their dreams, who were also mothers, who weren't cruel or actually kind of pretending to be men. The wrong kind of men. I know there's also sensitive, wonderful, three-dimensional contemporary men. But I wanted to really focus on if you finally met your female role model and she broke your heart. And so that's what season 1 sort of climaxes to.
I'm sorry. How am I supposed to continue talking about cold cuts when my 1-year-old is in the hospital? You are a mother. What would you do?
Think about what is important to you, because this is a slippery slope. Was I at every school play? No.
But this isn't a school play, okay?
Thank God for you, you have a capable husband at home. Anyone can be a mother, Kate. Going to the hospital might ease your guilt, but think about what you lose.
Sorry, what exactly would I lose?
How does that break your concept of, am I still supposed to be a working mother? Is this what it turns out to be? Am I supposed to be at home because I'm missing everything? In some ways I look back at it and it feels kind of obvious, right? It's like the most basic concept of work versus home. And that's probably a good exploration for season 1. In season 2, I think we were far more ambitious and a little bit, at the time we loved it, but we also thought, man, we might lose some audience here because it's damaging a really core character to Kate's world. And then, of course, season 3, if you found out that your partner had an affair on you and you were given a golden ticket to start over and do whatever you wanted, would you take it? And what that looks like when you have kids and a family and responsibilities. And that just made our room be like,
I don't know that I can give you what you need.
Listen, I don't need to be taken care of. I'm good. But I do think that we would be good together. And I'd like to see you happy. I can definitely do better than your current situation.
Are you pitching me right now?
Yeah, you gonna tell me it's not a good pitch?
No.
So what's it gonna be?
Okay, what's it gonna be? Come on.
Oh, I don't know.
Come meet me.
I'll get you anything you want.
What do you want to do?
Chick fings? What's it gonna be?
I want.
I can think of fewer breeding grounds for story material than the transition into motherhood and the changes that kind of injects into your life.
You know, it's funny, a lot of our audience doesn't have kids. And I think it's because the change is inherent in also just your 30s and going from whether you have a kid or not, or whether you're married or not, this expectation that you had of yourself as a teenager, or as a child, or even in your 20s, doesn't usually match up with what you look like in your 30s. And I think that the show is also that change of, you know, I keep saying the term identity crisis because it was the big engine of season 1.
No. Easy. Oh, God. All right. I am killing it.
It doesn't look like what you thought it would look like. It's messier, it's sloppier, you're failing a lot. How do we lean into that and showcase that in a really flawed way? Because the other problem, I'm sure, for any of you who've watched shows with leading ladies in it, is they tend to not be very flawed. Another thing I will just compliment Sally Catto at the CBC on is she leaned heavy into that. I said, look, I got a character who's going to get an abortion. I got a character who's going to ignore her husband and lie to him several times. My leading lady, Kate, is going to be the most painfully ambitious woman you'll ever see. And she's not going to sacrifice a thing. And she was like, great.
The board actually feels you're one of our strongest people, and we want to commend you on your excellent first couple of days back.
Really? Thank you, guys. You guys.
Yes, your current situation has actually made you very relatable to our clientele.
So much so, in fact, that we're considering throwing your hat in the ring to head up the Westwood Foods account. It's a very, very short list of contenders.
Wow. That's amazing. That's the job that works out in Montreal?
Sure is. Be out there for a couple of months of the year.
I told them you might not be interested. Most of the women who become mothers don't raise their hands as much.
Oh, well, not this girl. Hi.
You try to play the character likably, because that definitely lets the audience in. But we stuck to our guns, and I think the change that's happening, which is sort of just inherent in the theme of the structure, right? It was more of, how do we make these flawed women continue to stay on that path?
Let's talk about the characters. Kate, Frankie, and even Jenny, because I feel like they represent these different archetypes of motherhood in really powerful ways, but they're all so like full-bodied, no pun intended, well-rounded characters.
Imagine that. They're all so different. But they're all mothers and they're all working. It's like, yeah, it's as if it was a sample of the population. Yeah, they're all different aspects of my flaws. Kate, my uncompromised ambition and my unadulterated anger. Frankie, my identity crisis, my loss, my depression, and Jenny, vanity. Vanity is a very real part of being a woman, and we ignore it, and we pretend it's not real, and we're too humble for words, myself included, but then you get pregnant, and it's challenged in the most exceptional way, and it's a very real part of the identity crisis. And when I see people respond to the character of Jenny so negatively, it angers me sometimes because I think it's a real part of every single one of us, whether we like to admit it or not.
Hey, you have a minute?
For you, of course.
I've noticed a significant change in your behavior. You've really been going above and beyond lately. I mean, you've turned your work in early, you've stayed late every night this week.
So, you're happy with me?
Yeah.
Knowing that I have your support makes me feel like I can do anything.
Pretty sure my productivity is at an all-time high. It's worth mentioning.
Anyway, I was hoping if you had time after work today, you'd want to have a little...
Jenny!
Ian!
Hey, baby.
Certainly in season 1 through 3, particular 1, I think our main goal was to just take from moments in our life. As much as we were drawing as our experiences as a mother, we were really talking to, hey, have you ever gone to get coffee and they look at you and they say your name wrong, but you just want to move quickly, so you just go with it and then you become a new person. It's like those little idiosyncratic moments like that became sort of the crux of the show. But that being said, there were plenty of moments where I was having trouble breastfeeding my kid. My kid did not want anything to do with me. And the day on set, the 2 twins who played my sons were asleep. And my 3-month-old, when we started shooting, I had a 3-month-old who happened to be visiting at that moment. And I was like, well, it was a breastfeeding scene, kind of a relief. I don't have to breastfeed these 9-month-old twins who I'd met 2 weeks ago. And you're constantly trying to be brave and vulnerable and expose it all. And at this moment, someone asked me in an interview the other day, when do you know it works? When are you sitting in front of your laptop and you're like, I made it, this is it. And I never do that. Until it aired, was like, people are gonna think this is the most indulgent thing in the world. No one's gonna connect with it. This is only my experience. That's how specific and scary it was for me. And anyway, my kid was visiting set. It was a breastfeeding scene. I put him on, and I told the 2 camera women, I was like, just so you know, he's gonna reject me, he's gonna scream and cry, it's gonna actually break my heart, and it's gonna be great. So I said, just roll with it. If he's screaming and crying and purple in the face, don't cut, just go. We'll get it, he'll be fine. I got pacifiers for days, let's just get it. And the scene starts, the camera starts pushing in, I put Liam on my breast.
I know what you need. I know what you need. Yes. Yes, let's give this old thing another whack, huh? Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And he latches on. And my first instinct is that's not how it's scripted, Liam. Which, by the way, is classic Liam. But he latches on, and it completely changes the last moment of episode 2 of the first season. Kate has a win, the first win, and you feel great, and she laughs, because I really laughed, because I was annoyed and also delighted, and also he hasn't fed off of me. He's actually getting nutrients in real life. There was moments like that, because my husband's also in the show with me. There's all these moments where you're feeling the real life informing the creative.
Let's go to the bear.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, are you okay?
I'm assuming that didn't happen in real life, but if it is, badass. I'd love to just hear about some of the choices that you made.
The bear was a big fight. Nobody wanted the bear. Everyone hated the bear, and it was really expensive. And And at this point, we were this tiny little Canadian show, right? I lived in Los Angeles where there are bears, and in Toronto, there are no bears. And I had seen a bear on a run. I didn't scream at it. I'm not crazy. But I saw a bear and I was pregnant. And I remember thinking, oh, what a great moment that would be. Because it would be the most primitive, like maternal moment. And I ran back and I'm crying and I'm red and I'm all excited. And I'm like, Phil, I saw this bear and can you imagine? And he's like, are you okay? Because I was like, I think I was like 6 months pregnant. I wrote the scene. We moved to Toronto and the network, everyone was like, well, there are no bears in Toronto. I don't think it'll be very relatable. I'm like, it's going to be the most relatable moment. And I just kept pushing the idea, this concept of the battle cry, the battle cry, the battle cry. I kept saying it because I said, you're going to have moms standing up off their sofas. You just have to commit to this concept that it's the one, we don't have a lot of fantastical elements on our show like that, and it is fantastical, but it's the pilot, and I think it's going to connect people in a way that just me at the conference room saying I want to work won't. It'll personify all of it. The bear becomes every enemy to the working mother, every obstacle. And they were like, okay, it's going to be $50,000. And we're like, oh, what about like a scary deer? Every time I see nudity, which is a lot now on TV, it's, 90% of the time sexualized. And for me, I think I wanted to be able to control, we all constantly complain behind the screen that our bodies are falling apart, particularly after you have a child, that you make these sacrifices, and I don't think anyone ever thinks about it as triumphant. We're feeding these kids, we're doing these incredible superhero things with our bodies by making life. And by the three of us, sitting there topless, which was a big battle to get to that moment too. There's never been nudity on the CBC. The two actresses had never done nudity. I had never done nudity. I had a 3-month-old at home. There was a lot going on, but I don't regret it for a second.
I feel like a proud show dog that didn't understand her days were numbered. Like, look at these things. It's just like chicken skin.
What are you talking about? Yours are okay.
Look, they're not winning any blue ribbons, okay? But
They stuck in there. They may be a little deflated, but they're not thrown in the towel. I like them.
when it aired, there was not one person who pushed back. And it was hard because I think the biggest complaint before we had aired it was, well, they don't know your character yet, and they can't see your breasts until they know you. Right? Like, you want to get to know someone and then see their nipples. But when you're naked, it's even that much more vulnerable, and you're having to sort of trust the energy and your village. That's another reason to have your husband be in Village all the time.
So you brought up directing, and I do want to come back to that, directing your own work. Just curious what this process is like for you, what you've learned balancing all of these hats.
As an actor, it was exhilarating because I got to play a real person. I'm usually cast as best friends or like caricatures, which no harm in that. We need a dead tooth to laugh at. we need that best friend. I totally understand their purpose, but it was fun to let my wall down and sort of play vulnerable. It's something that doesn't come easily to me, particularly on camera. So that was very exciting. But to do that and direct myself into something that doesn't come easy to me was complicated. Like, I think back to season 1 where I'd be in a scene, especially if it's an emotional scene, and I'm trying to give this authentic performance and draw upon my real experiences, but I also, like at that conference room table, the I Want to Work scene, I got 6 actors around me who I'm giving direction to through my tears. So you can imagine if you're like, and if it's a 2-shot, and I'm like, okay, and then would you do that again, but also, like, it's really weird. I have found it impossible to improve as a director in the scenes that I am in.
What is it about comedy that you're drawn to?
That's such a hard question to answer. I don't know why. I think life's really funny, and I think it's a really nice way to deal with. Life's also really hard, and being able to laugh at it has helped me a bit. And I'm also like, the story of motherhood seems to only be a broad comedy with a diaper full of poop hitting the wall, or a really after-school specially dramatic one. So being able to tell a premium cable feeling dramedy about the subject matter was really exciting to me, and it felt like the most honest interpretation of my experiences as a working mother.
You've been watching A Conversation with Katherine Reitman on Story. On Story is part of a growing number of programs in Austin Film Festival's On Story project, including the On Story PBS series, now streaming online, the On Story radio program, the On Story podcast, and the On Story book series, available where books are sold. To find out more about On Story and Austin Film Festival, visit onstory.tv or austinfilmfestival.com. Want to see On Story live? Join us at Austin Film Festival's annual Writers' Conference each October. Visit www.austinfilmfestival.com to find out more about badges and passes to attend the festival.